What's up, world? It's your girl's T from T's Corner, and I'm actually sitting in the corner of my couch. Excuse my uniform. I'm working. I'm just on lunch break, and I wanted to go ahead and say this while it was still fresh. Second disclaimer is I don't want to get sued by Fox Searchlight or UPT or UTV or whatever they're called productions. So if you can hear my television, I'm watching I Think I Love My Wife with Kerry Washington and Chris Rock. So I'm not trying to get sued for copyright infringement or anything like that. But real quick, because I got to get back to work. My question is, does the messenger determine how you receive the message? As many people know, actor Jesse Williams received the Humanitarian Award at the 2016 BET Awards. And in my opinion, he gave a moving, stirring call to action that was 100% true. And there has been people for that call to action and people against it, and you know that's always going to be the case. No one's ever going to agree 100% on anything. But I was just wondering, if somebody tells you something that is true, are you more apt to receive or believe it depending on who tells you? So if a crackhead tells you that the earth is round, and then a philosopher tells you that the earth is round, are you more apt to believe the philosopher than the crackhead? If you are a Christian and a believer in Christ, and someone in the street who you would consider of the world tells you something that is true, and the following Sunday, the pastor is in the pulpit hooping and wailing and preaching the same thing that the worldly person told you earlier in the week, are you more apt to receive it from the pastor than you were from the worldly person who told you? With that being said, I go back to Jesse Williams and what he said. I seen today so many people who said black men have been saying the same thing that Jesse Williams said at the BET Awards for years. But now, since a light-skinned person says it, you want to listen. To me, that sounds retarded. And when I say retarded, I mean in the definition of retard as in to stop, as in your mental abilities have stopped. That is not to speak on anybody with any mental dysfunction or issues, because I know people get in their feelings about the word retarded. But to me, that was retarded. And the first thing that really got me was the statement, and it was not just one person. There were several different tweets that were all kind of worded the same way. And it was, black men have been saying that for years, but when a light-skinned man says it, then you listen. And the first thing I picked up on that is, what is the difference between black and light skin, except a couple of shades of skin color? That does not make Jesse Williams any less black because he's of a lighter complexion. And he's addressed this previously. I don't know if he's said anything about it since this new thing is going on, but in the past he has said that he understands that based on the European standards of beauty, he is considered beautiful. And he also understands that he has a seat at the table and a platform more so than his darker complected brothers and sisters. So he understands this. I'm thinking, I thought we got over this when Spike Lee made School Days. If you haven't seen it, you know, watch it. But I'm just like, haven't we already dealt with the light skin versus dark skin thing? How much longer are we going to deal with that? Because if we can't come together as a people, we can't even begin to expect to come together as a nation. If we're still arguing about light skin and dark skin, you know, house girls and field niggas, then how are we supposed to expect anybody else to take us seriously if we aren't serious? I guess is my question. Because if we're still going back and forth about complexion, we aren't serious about the plight of the black community, because the black community is all of us regardless of what we look like. So that's just pretty much my question. Does the messenger determine how you receive the message. If Samuel L. Jackson had said what Jesse Williams said, would the African American community as a whole been more ready to accept that message? If I'm sitting here on my couch, a unknown to majority of the world, and I'm saying something that I personally believe is truth, are you less apt to accept it because I'm not Michelle Obama, I'm not Ava DuVernay, I'm not Oprah Winfrey, I'm not on red carpets, you know, I'm in a red shirt selling auto parts. Come see me, we got some sales. But does it matter? It shouldn't. And I will say that I'm guilty of this as well. I haven't always been so awoke and enlightened. But I personally always say that there has never been a successful coup without an inside man. So, if the African American community considers white America an enemy, and I'm not saying that we do, I'm just saying, you know, as a whole, if this is how we were to look at this situation, how do we conquer that enemy without an insider? And I'm saying that because Justin Timberlake took a lot of flack for saying that he was inspired by what Jesse Williams had to say. And I didn't understand that either. What was wrong with him being inspired? If we are going to make a difference in this country as Americans, then all Americans need to participate in making that difference. And it doesn't matter what the color of your skin is. Now, I will also say this. As a self-respecting Janet Jackson fanatic, I could do without Justin Timberlake in my life. Yes, I could. I have no love for the dude. But what he said wasn't wrong. I mean, he could be inspired. I mean, why not? That's the same as if Donald Trump made the same speech that Jesse Williams made. It wouldn't make it any less true. I personally don't receive too much of what Donald Trump says. Another person that I could do without. But it doesn't make it any less true. So my statement is the messenger should not determine how you receive the message, because facts are facts. And so now I just want to know your opinion. What do you think? Do you think you are more apt to listen to someone of a darker hue when speaking on issues that affect the African American community as a whole? And how do you think I'm sorry, people are texting me. And my alarm's about to go off because it's time to go back to work. But how do you feel about, you know, things that affect others? So like the Pulse nightclub massacre. And I'll just call it that because that's what it was. Some crazy, insane stuff. You don't have to be a member of the LGBT community to have compassion for the victims and the families of the victims who were affected by this lone gunman at Pulse nightclub in Orlando. You don't have to be black to sympathize with, have compassion for, and then take action with members of the African American community and issues that involve the African American community. You don't have to be American to be concerned with the condition of this nation. To have sympathy for American people, because we are a mess right now. We really are. And I just think that outsiders can see in, so it doesn't matter. And Jesse Williams is one of us. And I don't understand why his complexion is such an issue when his message was truth and it was right. And it's about time, you know. It's great that he used his platform where everybody is trying to turn up and party to say, hey, yeah, turn up and party and it's great, but this is what's going on too. This is not all we're here for, because we have this platform and we have this audience. So why not speak on these issues? Why not educate people? Why not have a call to action? And then let's get to action. Let's not just be about talk. Once we talk about it, we get a plan and we move forward. And I personally applaud Jesse. I think what he said was right and true and on time. And I don't care what complexion he is.